Did it ever happen to you showing up at the airport? Boarding pass in hand. Window seat 14F. Perfect, you'd think. But when you get to the gate, the agent calls your name.
Sir, we've oversold the flight.
Wait, oversold? How can they sell your seat if you already bought it? Today we're diving into one of the most controversial and completely legal practices in aviation. How airlines sell the same seat twice, on purpose. And by the end of this video you'll understand why they do it, how they predict who won't show up, how they sometimes make more money when you don't fly, and how you can actually turn this system in your favor. But first, we need to rewind.
Chapter 1: The Empty Seat Problem.
Imagine you run an airline. Your plane has 180 seats. You sell 180 tickets. Flight day arrives, 12 passengers don't show up. The plane takes off with 12 empty seats. That's thousands of dollars gone, forever. Here's the brutal truth. Once a plane departs, any unsold seat becomes worthless. Unlike hotels or restaurants, airlines can't sell yesterday's seat tomorrow. So airlines faced a problem. People don't always show up. And that's where math changed everything.
Chapter 2: The Birth of Overbooking.
In the 1970s, after deregulation, airlines in the United States entered brutal price wars. Competition exploded, margins shrank. Companies like American Airlines began analyzing booking data. They discovered something powerful. On average, a predictable percentage of passengers don't show up. Business travelers miss connections. People change plans. Weather interferes. Some cancel last minute. And here's the key. Those patterns are statistically consistent. If 5 to 15% of passengers typically don't show up, why only sell 100% of seats? Why not sell 105% or 110%? That's how overbooking was born. Airlines realized they could legally sell more tickets than seats because historically not everyone arrives. It wasn't greed, it was probability. But probability isn't perfect, and that's where things get uncomfortable.
Chapter 3: When Math Fails.
Let's say the algorithm predicts 12 no-shows, so the airline sells 12 extra tickets. But today, everyone shows up. Now you have 192 passengers and 180 seats. This is where you hear the announcement.
This flight is oversold. We are looking for volunteers.
The airline isn't surprised. This scenario is built into the model, and here's what most people don't realize. Airlines budget for this. They know it will happen. Because even when they have to compensate passengers, overbooking is still more profitable overall. But how do they decide who stays and who doesn't?
Chapter 4: Who Gets Bumped.
Contrary to popular belief, it's not random. Airlines rank passengers based on multiple factors: fare class, loyalty status, check-in time, route profitability, ticket type, refundable versus non-refundable, elite status members on Delta Airlines or United Airlines. Almost never bumped. Last-minute discount fare, no loyalty number attached. Much higher risk, but airlines prefer not to force anyone off. Why? Because forced denied boarding triggers mandatory compensation laws. For example, in the US Department of Transportation requires airlines to pay up to 400% of your one-way fare if you're involuntarily bumped, capped at a legal maximum. In Europe, under EU 261 regulations, compensation can reach €600. And that's expensive, so airlines start with psychology instead.
Chapter 5: The Auction.
You didn't notice, when a gate agent asks for volunteers, they're essentially running a live auction. But they don't call it that. They might offer $300 travel credit for a later flight. Silence, then $500, then $800, sometimes over $1,500. Here's the genius part. They increase the offer slowly, because someone will always accept less than the maximum the airline is willing to pay. It's reverse pricing psychology, and it works because some people are flexible, some want free travel credits, some love the thrill of the deal. The airline saves money compared to automatically paying everyone maximum compensation, and passengers feel like they won. But here's what most travelers don't realize. The airline already calculated the ceiling price they're willing to pay before boarding even begins. You're negotiating inside a system designed to protect their profit. Still, if you play it right, you can benefit. We'll come back to that. First, let's talk about something even more controversial.
Chapter 6. The dark side of overbooking.
Most overbooking situations resolve smoothly. But in 2017, one incident changed public perception forever. A passenger was forcibly removed from a United Airlines flight after refusing to give up his seat. The video went viral, public outrage exploded, United lost nearly $1 billion in market value within days. Overbooking suddenly felt immoral. But here's the uncomfortable truth: overbooking isn't rare. It happens thousands of times per day globally. The difference is, usually people volunteer. Airlines learned something from that incident. The cost of bad PR can outweigh the profit from overbooking. Since then, many carriers have increased compensation caps and improved bidding systems. But they haven't stopped overbooking, because financially it still makes sense. And that brings us to the economics.
Chapter 7. The billion-dollar math.
Let's simplify. If a flight seat generates $400 in revenue and historically 8 passengers don't show up, that's $3,200 lost per flight. Multiply that across thousands of daily flights. We're talking billions annually. By overbooking, airlines increase load factors, the percentage of seats filled. Modern airlines aim for load factors above 85 to 90%. Overbooking is one of the tools that makes that possible. In fact, it's so effective that without it, ticket prices would likely rise. Yes, ironically, overbooking helps keep fares lower, because more seats filled equals lower average cost per passenger. It's not about tricking you, it's about smoothing statistical risk. But what about when you are the risk?
Chapter 8. How to turn overbooking into an advantage.
Now here's where things get interesting. If you want to strategically benefit from overbooking, here's what you can do. Choose busy routes, business hubs, holidays, Friday evenings. Book flexible schedules. Check in early, but ask at the gate if they're seeking volunteers. Wait for higher compensation offers. Airlines rarely start with their maximum offer. If you're patient, you can sometimes walk away with travel vouchers, hotel stays, meal credits, rebooking on the next flight. Some frequent travelers intentionally position themselves for this. They understand the game, and they play it calmly. But here's the final twist.
Chapter 9. Why you agree to this system.
Psychologically, overbooking works because you assume your ticket guarantees a seat. But legally it doesn't until boarding is complete. You accept compensation as fairness. You trust statistical systems over emotional fairness. And most importantly, it rarely affects you. If overbooking impacted you every time you flew, the system would collapse. But because it only affects a small percentage of travelers, public resistance stays low. It's a classic example of invisible optimization. You benefit from cheaper tickets. Occasionally, someone else pays the inconvenience cost, and sometimes you get paid for flexibility. That's the trade-off.
Conclusion.
So yes, airlines legally sell the same seat twice, not because they're chaotic, not because they're unethical, but because math says it works. They are not gambling, they are forecasting. They are betting against human inconsistency, and usually winning. The next time you hear, "This flight is oversold," you'll know something most passengers don't. You're not witnessing a mistake. You're witnessing a calculated system balancing probability, psychology, and profit. And now the real question is, next time it happens, will you volunteer?
If you enjoyed this deep dive into hidden systems behind everyday life, subscribe.